Get out your packets. I thought we were going to do a quiz today, but then I remembered we didn't finish 1-3. So we're going to finish 1-3 today, and you'll do your quiz on Thursday or Wednesday. What day is today? Yeah, Wednesday. Okay. So that's our plan. Right? Because we were doing division. I think we got here. We finished this stuff, right? Like, isn't this where we were in our volunteer or get drafted mode? Yeah. And we finished these off. Okay. Then before I come over here for this word problem, I just want to put it in the margin, okay, wherever. I'm just going to throw a couple of random problems up here to make sure that we shake the rust off the gears from the last 3 days. Okay. I want to make sure that we remember the thing before I set you loose. Remember I said I don't really like it when I have to assign work out of the classroom, especially if it's the entire assignment. That's not my vibe. I want us to do stuff in here where you got help, where there is no excuse for not knowing it because, seriously, there's 2 or 3 teachers in this room at all time. How do you not know this? Oh, you sat there and stared at it and expected it was going to solve itself. Gotcha. Okay. We don't want that. So I want you to do the work in here. I could have said, you know what, you're not going to be in my classroom for another 3 days. It's only one last example. I think you got this. Go, and just sent you on your merry way. How many of us would have actually done the assignment? How many of us would have actually done decently on the assignment because we were comfortable with it? Okay? So instead, I would much rather we did it in here. Over on the side here, does everyone have this? You should have it in your notes. A bunch of you took a picture of it. Everyone got this. These rules, these 7 rules of exponents. Okay, there were some of you that were maybe a little bit hesitant, but as soon as we started looking at this, put that picture right next to our work, we were doing great. So I'm going to ask you questions like, what if I had 5x to the 8th over 15x to the 5th? What rule do you see?
6.
Rule number 6. An exponent divided by an exponent. What do I do with those exponents?
Subtract.
It's right there, right? Rule number 6. Exponent over exponent subtract. The catch is there's a coefficient part and a variable part. So we know that this part is x to the 8 minus 5. That's out in regular number land. I'm just going to reduce it like a normal fraction. What do 5 and 15 have in common? Common factor. 5s, right? I can count by 5s. What's 5 divided by 5? 1. Okay, Kevin, what's 15 divided by 5? Okay. So there's a 1/3 here, and then 8 minus 5 is x to the 3rd. Now I can write it like this, or I can write it as x to the 3rd over 3. And those are both correct. Okay. Y'all ever remember doing something like this? Cross, cross, 3, cross, 1, cross, 3. So there's an x to the third left up top and a 3 left downstairs. Okay. So it's just a different way to look at it. What if we had... What if I went big kahuna on it? Take a look over here.
Is that a Z or 2?
It's a Z, that's why I put a line through it. If y'all like me, my 2's look like Z's, so I put a line through it. My 5's look like S's. Depends whether you get the sharp corner to it or not. My pluses look like T's, and so on. So instead of this, I always put a line through Z's. I put a little supposition on S's. I put my tail on T's. I do stuff like that to make sure we know that it's a letter. Oh, also randomly, I don't know if it's going to weird anyone out. I make my 2's differently, and I don't know why.
Me too.
Just randomly, as I'm writing, I will have a 2 with a curly tail in the same problem as a 2 without, and I have no idea why I do that.
It's because if you make a bigger 2, yours says 2 becomes smaller.
Yeah, I don't know.
But for smaller 2's, that's what you need.
I want you to hold on to that thought. Like, I've never thought if it was different sizes.
Because as if it's a smaller 2, you can't really do the.
It's harder to do the curly
Yeah,
Q.
as a bigger 2, it's easier to do the curl.
Huh. I'm 36 years old. I finally figured it out. Attaboy, Shane. Okay, so who up there gets that big honking 5?
Everyone.
Right? Like they're all in parentheses. So what do I do with an exponent raised to an exponent?
Add.
An exponent raised to an exponent. Look at rule number 3, exponent to an exponent. Okay. Look at number 4, a product to an exponent. They both get it. Look at number 7, a quotient to an exponent. They all get it. So I got a 2 to the 1 times 5. I have a x to the 3 times 5. I've got a y to the 8 times 5 over 3 to the 1 times 5. Y to the 2 by 5. Z to the 10 by 5. I turn all of that big ugly mess into... What's 1? Well, 1 times 5, we know that. What's 2 to the 5th? We've run across this number like 4 times now. 2 to the 5th. Start doubling. 2, 4, 8. Go by doubles. 2, 4, double it, 8, double it, 16, double it, 32. 32, x to the 15th, y to the 40. 3 to the 5th. That one's tougher. Where's the button on your calculator? Why are we at the beginning of class and nobody has a calculator in front of them? Boo! Boo all of you. Boo some of you. How about that? So? If I got a math, so do you. 243. Okay. And y to the 2 times 5 is 15. Z to the 10 times 5 is 50. And then I realize, oh wait, there's a y over a y. What do I do with y over y? What do I do with their exponents? Don't just say it, look at it, man. An exponent over an exponent. Hey, it's almost like looking at the notes tells us what to do. Kill me, Smalls. What is 40 minus 15? Ooh. Okay. All right, someone actually checking over there. Another way that I've heard it called over the years, we called it the who's got more game game. What's bigger, 40 or 15? By how much? 25. And that works whether it's on numerator or denominator. So my final answer, 32x to the 15th, y to the 25th, 243, z to the 50th, and I leave it right there because x, y, and z don't combine with each other.
No, sir, I didn't see.
Oh, okay. Okay, so just wanted to do a little bit of review, knock some rust off the gears. You all have these 7 rules, these exponent rules. We should have written them down. Some of you took a picture instead. That's great. I want you to use that while we're in class. You're not going to have your phones anywhere near you for your quiz. So please get those written down somewhere instead of just on the phone. Okay? So if everyone's got those, you should be good to go. Let's come back to the packet and say, can we exponent? The volume of a prism is modeled by the expression 48, 8 to the 20th, b to the 16th squared cubic centimeters. Area of the base is this other guy. What's the height of the prism? So maybe we don't remember this from, I don't know if you had these as application problems last year. Maybe you did them in middle school. But volume of a thing, volume is how much space it takes up, right? So you take the area of that base, you take this rectangle, and what you're doing is you're stacking another one, and another one, and another one. You're stacking a whole bunch of rectangles, whatever the height is. So if I know, we all know that the volume of a box is length times width times height, right? Like you've been doing that forever. The official formula for it, since you were taking the base and just stacking a whole bunch of them, was area of the base with a big B, right? Little b is little base, like the base of the rectangle.
Yeah.
Where big B is base area times the height. That's why it looks like this. That's why they gave me the area of the base. 8, a to the 5th, b to the 3rd, c to the 7th, times, well, I don't know the height. But they did say that the volume was this big kahuna over here. I hope you're paying attention for this because there's a common thread in these packets in this curriculum where this example problem, you get one just like it in the assignment. Like this word problem, there's a word problem just like it in the assignment. Okay, so what if I said I want to figure out how many donuts I should order for Friday? And I say I'll have 4 classes that average 20 kids a class. 4 times 20 is 80. Couldn't I take, if I knew that I had 80 kids, I could divide by 4 to find out how many I have per class? Right? 80 divided by 4 is 20. I could say, well, I've got about 20 kids in each class, and I know I've got about 80 kids, so 80 divided by 20, oh, I have 4 classes that day. Okay, you can do that to divide and find the missing part. So, Shane.
The V just 48 and 8, is that a 20 or
Oh, it's a 20. It's right here.
Sorry, I couldn't see.
Okay. So, if volume is base times height, and I don't know what the height is, well, that'd be no different than this guy up here if I knew that 4 times, h is 80. Y'all remember solving equations? If I say 4 times a thing makes 80, how would I undo that to get h by itself? Y'all passed algebra half, right? If 4 times a thing equals 80, how do I get that thing by itself? Divide, right? You undo. If they multiply, you divide. If they divide, you add. No, that's not right. What's the opposite of divide? Multiply. If they add, you subtract. If they subtract, you add. Inverse operations. That means if I want that h by itself, I divide both sides by big B here. That's what they're asking us to do. They're saying, if I know big ugly expression and big ugly expression, then I can divide those big ugly expressions. I can take 48 a to the 20th, b to the 6th, c to the 2nd, and divide it by 8. A to the 5th, b to the 3rd, c to the 7th. And then I really do believe this who's got more game thing works a lot better than the subtraction rule. I look at 48 over 8. Those aren't exponents. They're regular. So, what goes into 48 and 8? No, you tell me. What number goes into 48 and 8? Yeah.
4.
Okay. So it's 48 divided by 4. What's 8 divided by 4? What's 8 divided by 4?
2.
Hey, did 12 and 2 have anything in common? What?
2 divisible.
What's 12 divided by 2?
6.
2 divided by 2.
1.
Okay. Look at your A's. Who's got more? By how many?
15.
So I know that I'm going to have a 6a to the 15th up top. Look at your B's. Who's got more? Y'all killing me. B to the 6th over B in the 3rd. Top's got more. By how many?
3.
So there's 3 left over. Look at your C's. C in the 2nd over C in the 7th. Who's got more?
5.
By how many?
5.
So over C to the 5th. I'm already at the answer. I didn't need to do all their extra work. Okay? That's one way to do it. Option 2, the way they actually want me to do this, is they want 48 a to the 20th, b to the 6th, c to the 2nd, all over 8 a to the 5th, b to the 3rd, c to the 7th. Is they want 48 over 8 times, Look at your A's and say A to the 20 minus 5 times B to the 6 minus 3 times C to the 2 minus 7, and then clean them up. 6, A to the 15th, B to the 3rd, C to the negative 5th. You remember what negative exponents do? There's a rule for it right over my shoulder. When I move them, they become positive when I move them where? Remember the light switch? If it's upstairs, it goes downstairs. If it's downstairs, it goes upstairs. You're too negative. Go to your room. You go downstairs, and now it's positive. So now it's 6A to the 15th, B to the 3rd. And now that you're downstairs, you got your PS5, you're happy. You're positive. I don't know, maybe you mugged someone. Does anyone actually have a PS5? Those things are so hard to get.
Right?
Wah, wah. Cool. And fighting words, Shane. And fighting words. No, I grew up on Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, and PlayStation 2 came out when I was in high school. This was back in the days before pre-order existed. So me and my buddies actually took turns camping out at Best Buy for a week. Like literally a tent in line. And we took turns skipping school to hold our place in line. So.
Is that actually what happened?
Yes.
Yes.
Topic.
Oh yeah.
So I
Those
have a new
consoles are
house,
so
and
hard to get.
I went in, and the light switches. I
The light
noticed
switches
those.
are
Yeah, but there's like two
espe- especially after we just talked about it, right? Like, no, it's right there. It's in my face. Okay. So. Oh. I got the reflexes of an inbred cat. You have to like stop me before I pick this thing up. Here, there was a C to the 5th down here. Okay. Yeah, there's 3 more chairs up here. Just saying. Okay. So you flip it over. That's what we're doing today. Okay. I didn't want to do the quiz today without getting more practice on these. So you get a lot of time to work on your assignment. I am not going to move on from this. Okay? So what I'm going to tell you all to do for the remainder of class, you know what? I really need to switch back to recording and uploading for this class because of how much downtime we get instead of live streams. There you go. You've got 14 problems. You got 14 problems in about an hour. That is a lot of time. You've got 3 teachers here. There is no reason for any of us to not have this done at the end of this class period. I also want you to look at the rest of your packet. You should have everything 1, 2, progress check, 3. Everything through page 18 in your packet at the end of today should be filled out. If it's not, it means you weren't doing something that you were supposed to while you were in here. You're zoning out, you weren't paying attention, you didn't do your assignment when you had time to work, whatever it is. When you come on Wednesday, this is open, my stuff is all open notes, open everything. You're going to get a review that looks just like a quiz. Like this is Algebra 2's from last hour. Okay, that's the review. That's the quiz. Same thing, different numbers. Okay, and it's open notes. So when you come on Wednesday and you have all of these resources and we review it right before you do it, and then you do your quiz, and then you turn your packet in over there. See the big stack of binders and notebooks I got to go through here? Okay. On Wednesday, you turn everything in. You do your quiz. It goes in the grade book. It sits there as your grade for the next 2 weeks, 2.5, 3, right? Because don't we got a break in there somewhere? Oh. It means there's a chance that this might be your only grade for conferences. Okay? So you have the remainder of today to work on the 1-3. You've got help in the room, and make sure that you have everything through page 18 completely finished off. All of it. Because you're turning it all in on Wednesday when you're done with your quiz. And it's probably going to be your grade for a few weeks. Okay?
How many points is it worth?
Points doesn't matter. I could make it worth 3, I could make it 3,000. It's 70% of the overall grade. So until we take our final, this one piece of paper will represent 77.77777% of your grade. Yeah. Good thing that it's open notes, open books, open all the resources. Good thing you get to have all those rules written down telling you what to do. It's open every resource. You got everything that you could possibly need. We review it immediately before we do it. It's kind of on a silver platter. I said you have to try to not give any fornications in my class to get anything lower than a C. It's really out there on a silver platter for you. So, you got an hour. Use it wisely.